Welcome to the second in this series, The Anatomy of Active Listening. The last video that we made, we looked at active listening. Basically what it means to be an active listener. We don't fix, we don't solve, we don't advise. We just mirror back what we hear. We don't add anything else. And we check it out. We say, hey, how am I listening? Is this actually what you were saying? Today, we're looking at the anatomy, the structure, what we're actually going to use in active listening. And so we'll look at three things today. We'll look at mirroring, reflecting, and validating. And these three things, mirror, reflect, and validate, comprise the body of active listening as we're looking at it today. They sound like steps like 1, 2, 3, but actually they're just blocks and you can move them around any way you want to. And the other thing about active listening is we don't active listen all the time. We can active listen at the right point to melt down barriers and to get through conflict and to bring up people's spirits and to make people feel understood and validated. It's more like a tool that you can use in the moment. Today, we're going to look at mirror, reflect, and validate as three stages or pieces of active listening. So let's take a look at the mirroring. So in mirroring, we're basically looking at three stages. We have stage 1, 2, and 3. And it's the same as the blocks. There's no actual real stage, but it helps teach it if we look at three stages. So stage 1 of mirroring, human tape recorder. They say this phrase, and we'll keep repeating it, I'm not feeling so well today. And the response at stage 1 is, I hear you're not feeling so well today. Stage 2, same phrase, I'm not feeling so well. And the response is, I get it, you don't look so good. You're a little peaked and your voice sounds scratchy. So I'm taking what they said and I'm using my words and I'm rearranging the order, but there's nothing else really there. Stage 3 goes a little bit deeper and it takes in account feelings that you might get. So it looked like this. Here's the phrase, I'm not feeling so well today. And stage 3 looks like, wow, I get it. You look under the weather. You're not your normal, vibrant, peppy self. I can see that you're a little green around the gills and that you're kind of not up to it. And I can tell that there's a lot on your plate right now too, because you got a big deadline coming, and a big deadline and not feeling well, I can see how that might weigh on you. So those are the three stages, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. 1 is being a tape recorder. 2 is basically using what they said and rearranging it. And 3 is rearranging it and adding some of your interpretations and deeper understanding. So that's mirroring. Now the next one we're going to go to is reflecting. Reflecting is basically giving back to people what they've said and adding on to it our understanding of our relationship. So in this next example, we'll use the same phrase, but now I've known the person for a few years. And it sounds like this. I'm not feeling so well. I get it. You look a little under the weather. Your throat's a little scratchy. And in fact, now that I think about it, in the entire 2 years I've known you, I've never once heard you complain. The fact that you're saying something right now means to me it must be a really big deal. And I do know that you're the lead on the team and the deadline's coming up and everybody's probably looking to you for answers. So I imagine that would be a concern to you. What are we doing with a team of people when you're getting sick and all the ramifications around that? So that's reflecting. It's just taking it over time. And even if I have just a brief time with someone, like one conversation, I can still reflect. So if someone's in a conversation with me and we'll use a different phrase and they're concerned about something, you can repeat back, I get that this is a really big deal. You've mentioned it 3 times in the time I've been talking to you today. So we can add, I get it, I see it, yeah, you keep saying it, that makes sense to me. Even if there's less time that we have with them, less depth of relationship. The last one, remember we had mirror, reflect, and validate. The last one, validate, is about making people feel okay for being who they are. Early counseling programs called this unconditional positive regard. And what we're doing is we're looking for ways to connect with people. And for today, it would generally come after we mirror, and then we reflect, and then we validate. Validate in this case would be the same phrase. Ready? I'm not feeling so good today. I get it. I never hear you complain. This must be a big deal, and I know people are looking to you. And if I were to really put myself in your shoes, I would feel kind of frazzled because I would be thinking about how I'm going to take care of myself so that I don't get sicker. And then also, how do I take care of my team and the deadline that's coming, because I know you care. And so if I were in your shoes, I'd be conflicted too. You're not crazy. Is there anything I can do? So that depth of validation basically says you're okay for being where you are. I understand why you're struggling, having a hard time, maybe even making some mistakes, because there's a lot going on. And you're not crazy for being that way. In fact, I would feel that way too. When we can literally say something like, and you know what, if I were in your shoes, I'd feel the same way you do. We've accomplished something if it's genuine and we've really deeply connected to a person. So the end of active listening is we want people to say, thank you. I feel understood. And it's mirror, reflect, and validate. And mirroring has 3 stages to it. And that's basically all we're doing. So mirror, reflect, and validate. Thank you. If this has been of service to you, hit the subscribe button and know that we have another video coming, or maybe 2, on role plays, so that we can actually begin to see how people would respond in certain situations. Thank you. It's great having you here.